Hi, I'm Felicia.
And I'm Giancarlo.
And this is our review of
Dice Crawl and the expansion.
Forbidden Vaults, a Dice Crawl expansion. I don't understand.
What else is new? If I ever was in a dungeon crawl, I'd want to be in there with you.
Yeah, why?
Because I probably could outrun you.
I really don't think so.
You really think you could outrun me?
Well, I'm tinier, which means...
You have shorter legs.
No, which means I probably have longer legs because you're short, but I'm tinier this way. So if we were in a tunnel, I'd probably faster than you.
Oh, you're saying I'm fat now.
No.
That's what you're saying.
Just a little fat.
It's okay.
Fat with a PH.
Once you go fat, you never go back. Baby back, baby back, baby back. Baby. In Dice Crawl, players take on the role of a fantasy mercenary captain with units exploring the depths of a labyrinth and defeating its denizens. In the box you'll find 1 dragon tile, which you'll place in the middle of the table, 4 adventure markers, each player will choose a color and take it, reference tiles, which you'll place face up handy for every player to look at, 12 race cards, each player will randomly be assigned 1, 12 class cards, again each player will randomly be assigned 1, 100 dice in 4 colors. Each player will take 25 dice matching their adventure marker color, and 50 dungeon tiles. You'll place some of these in different size grid for the number of players you are. For our 4-player review, we'll make a 5x5 grid. The first player will flip a corner tile and place adventure marker there. Each other player will do so at the beginning of their turn only. Now the game can begin. End the game with the most points, and you'll win Dice Crawl.
Each game turn consists of 2 phases in this order: Explore and Crawl. Let's skip Explore for now, as the first player can't do this phase the first turn. During your crawl, the first thing you do is take 5 dice from your pool, called your army, and roll them. Now you have a choice of a multitude of actions. They are Hunt, Hoard, Unlock powers, and or Use powers. You may choose to do these in any order. Do only some and or repeat some you've already done. Let's take a closer look at these. Hunting means placing dice rolled on their matching empty icons. You can place these dice, or units as the game calls them, on any of these tiles which contain an adventurer marker. These represent the monsters you need to clear before moving on. If all the spaces get filled, the tile is considered to be conquered. These tiles will generate a number of victory points listed in the middle to whomever has the most units on these conquered tiles at the endgame. Once locked in, the dice cannot be removed unless with the use of a power. The act of placing a unit on a treasure icon is called Hoard. These will be worth 2 points each at the end of the game. Any player may return a unit to their controller's army by placing a higher valued unit there. Your character might have some powers you want to use, but beforehand you'll have to unlock these powers. Unlike hunting, where you can place 1 unit at a time, you must place both units in 1 turn to unlock powers. As soon as they are unlocked, you may use the power. Given, you can pay the cost if any. Some will have permanent effects, like rolling an extra unit in the crawl phase, while others have a cost you must pay each time. These powers range from attacking a unit to remove it from a locked space. Let's get back to the first phase, Explore.
If the tile your marker is on is a conquered tile, you may explore any adjacent tiles that connect to it via corridor or tunnel. You may choose to orient it any way you wish. Once locked in, it cannot be moved unless with a power. Then you may move your adventure marker on any revealed tile from this explore action that is legally connected. When revealing some tiles, you may inadvertently spring a trap. These tiles mainly come from the Forbidden Vaults expansion and include gas, pits, fire, petrification, goblin swarms, goblin tripwire, and many more. Some will give you benefits though, like these dwarven hoards. These act like hoard treasures, but 2 units can go on these spaces. If a single player controls both units here, it is worth 3 points at the end of the game, otherwise only 1 point for each unit on it. Some tiles will also have powers listed on them. Once a player conquers that tile, he may choose to do the power listed there. If it becomes unconquered and conquered again, that power triggers again. If ever the center tile gets explored, the dragon, the game ends and we go on to the scoring phase.
Here's how to calculate score. Each conquered tile will give its points to the player controlling it, having more units there than other players. Others will get 1 point there for each unit. Each hoard icon you control scores 2 points. Dwarven hordes will score 3 for a player having both his units there, or 1 point for each unit there otherwise. If the dragon tile had been explored, the player to do so scores 3 points. Total up the points and the player with the most wins.
Alright, let's start off by saying Dice Crawl offers a lot of tiles, powers, races, class, and other components like dice. Cards are of good quality, they don't bend or tear easily, and the dice are good enough to do their job. But the lack of art makes Dice Crawl an abstract dungeon crawl. From the adventurer markers being a cube, to units being dice, and monsters being empty icons. And it's a little too abstract, we felt, for us to really get into the game. We didn't feel like any of our characters or our class. I mean, sure, there's all these powers, race, class, and tiles, but at any given game, you'll be stuck with the race and class you get and what tiles flip up. There's the illusion of choice, but there really isn't. Luck plays a huge factor in the game, and the powers not being balanced adds to that randomness. The variant offers a way to alleviate this and should not be variants, but actually part of the base game. There are enough of these to smooth the chaos a little. But we ran into some problem early on and there was no FAQs to help us out. I started on a tile, didn't conquer it, and then an opponent rotated my tile so that my corridors were facing the outside and I couldn't explore any longer. I was sure there was no way he could do that, but according to the rules, he can. So from the get-go, I was screwed. It's just, I don't understand, do publishers and designers playtest their games or not? A game like this should have tons of FAQs in their rulebook. But I digress. I guess I'm just a little peeved because this game had such potential when reading the rulebook, but fell apart rather quickly when we played. It offered lots of strategy theoretically, but it's a simple matter of limited dice placement. But it has the potential to be better. It needs a second edition with some major tweaks and rule clarifications. Right now, it just feels like a work-in-progress prototype. Now, maybe a younger audience would like this and they'd be content with rolling and placing, but the lack of style doesn't tell me this. I just don't see it. I mean, there are thousands of other dice placement games out there that are just better aesthetically and gameplay-wise. If anything, I think this game might appeal to role players. At least with them, they can use the dice and dungeon tiles in their campaign. And if they like it, the replay value is there. With tons of cards, they'll rarely play the same dungeon or race and class twice. Dice Crawl, unfortunately, gets a 5 out of 10 from us.